you very much. I appreciate a lot. So, before we start, we are already 10 people. Before we start, don't forget that if you want to have my ebook with 50% discount because you are watching me now live, you can just send me an email or a private message on my Instagram profile and say, I watched you on the video live. I know that there is a discount for those people that follow you. May I have your ebook with a discount? And then if for €7, which is really nothing, I will send it to you via email because it's a PDF. Of course, you have to have a PayPal account to pay. Europe, ciao, welcome back. So just in case you want to take advantage of this promotion that is only for my closest fans, my followers that really follow me every week. Okay, so the one thing good I want to let you know, for those that don't know, I have got the other HD camera working from the top. Okay, I will give you an example right now, and this is because I would like to show you now the quality of this camera, when I will be using my iPad sketching with you, making tutorials about Procreate, the way I use Procreate. So you see, you can see really well. Now I show you. There you go. You see, you can really see very well what I'm talking about. Of course, I will move that light a little bit over so that you can see better without reflections. And here you see I can show you in detail what I will do, how I will do it, and this will happen very soon on our Tuesday sketching session. Ciao Real, welcome back. My opinion, the new KTM RC series, sir. I mean, Razor Boy, what is a KTM RC series? Is it a motorbike? KTM? I don't know. I have no idea. To be honest, I don't know. Okay, so let's go back to my face, to my funny face, and and let's start. We are 12, so I think we can start. So what if? Okay, we take the camera off. So what if? Okay, so what if you get in school design teachers that are not good, they are bad? This can happen. Not all the teachers, of course. Every school has very good teachers, but motorbike. Isaac, I'm sorry, but I'm not very much a fan of motorbikes, therefore I don't really follow. I'm sorry. I'm not the best person to talk about motorbikes and motorbikes design. The only thing I know that I like a lot of BMW's motorbikes. That one, yes, I do. But that's how far I can go with motorbike design. So let's talk about the topic of today. What happens if we have a teacher that is not a good teacher, or that a teacher that doesn't like us? I have a teacher and he doesn't like me, and of course I don't like him either. So what's gonna happen? And this is in school. But the worst thing, the worst case is if this is happening at work, which means you're a design manager. What if you get a design manager that doesn't like you? Or that you don't like? That you think that this design manager is not very competent, that is not very prepared, that is not exactly at the level you wished he or she could be. So what's gonna happen in situation like that one? What is the scenario? And how should we behave? Because it's very, very sensible. This is very, very sensible. It's a motorbike. Okay, Razor Boy. Sorry for that. Already answered about that. Okay, so in school it's a little bit easier. Let's face it. because he's a teacher, okay? Maybe he will never give you a higher grade or whatever, or good notes, but at the same time, who cares, you know? If you, ciao Adele, so if you do a good job, if you think that you are doing a good job, that your portfolio is not gonna suffer because of that class in which you have a teacher that is probably not your best choice and is not responding the way you would, and he doesn't like you, therefore there is a sort of a distance between you, student, the teacher, it's okay. You can always talk to him or to her and have an opportunity to clarify things between the two, which is always a good thing. Hi, Adam. And you can try to do that. But in school, it's not really extremely important. Versus real work scenario, which means you are already a car designer, whether you are very young, so at the beginning of your experience, or that you already have a few years of experience, or you changed boss because you move into another studio and you have a new boss, and somehow, for some reasons, things don't go well with your boss, that situation at work, it's much more important, and you should really care for that, trying to understand what are the solutions, which solution take, so that that situation is cleared off, so that the relationship between you and your boss can get better. And this is in the mutual interest of both, because a boss always hopes a design manager to rule a nice design team. Ciao, random! Yes, of course I do remember you. Welcome back. Because there is always design managers. We always want to have the best relationship possible with the people that work within our team, that work for us. And in general, a team is a little bit like a family. Now, in some companies, we are less close. But in other companies, managers, designers, environment, they really make a sort of a small family at work, so they are closer. And therefore relationships are much, much easier, more friendly, even if it's business, or that's of course. That means that we all have to be very careful, very, very dedicated to the job, to our projects, and work well. But the most important thing is to make sure that our relationship with our boss is a good one. And our boss, believe me, I tell you as a design manager, we always hope that we don't get those problems, that everything runs really well. So, what if this is happening, or what if it happens? So, how do we feel as designers if we are kind of ignored by our boss? And the thing is, are we able to understand the reasons behind such behavior? Can we go back and think how all this started and why? Because that's the most important thing, to understand the reasons, because we have to reason on the facts and understand what I did wrong, because at the beginning there is always something that designers did wrong. Let's face it, you know, if your boss is somehow in a negative way impressed by you, that means that you are doing something that is not working. And believe me, your peer, which means they are the designers in the studio, they are not the first one to tell you, hey, be careful because you did this, he doesn't like it. They won't. Because there is always that sort of competition, you know, in the studio. That's normal. That's human. So what we have to do is really, on our own, we have to think back and try to understand, first thing, when it started and why it started, and what we can do according to that situation. Hey, 27 Zain Mukri, ciao. Adam, you have any problem with the camera? Picture delay, 2 seconds for what you say. Oh, I'm sorry. So there is a latency still. I don't know what to do, to be honest. Let me check with the volume. Yeah, there is a little delay. I don't know what to do. I don't now I cannot do because I'm live, and this is not because of internet. Internet is perfect now. I am cable, and it's going really fast, and YouTube is telling me it's perfect. I think that there are the parameters, but if I move the parameters, I am scared that now that I'm live, yeah, I can even do it. So I'm sorry, guys. That's how it's going to be today. Okay, so let's go back to our topic. So let's think about it. Sometimes designers, we are asked to, of course, normally, for a project we have to work, and we have to do our brainstorming. We have to interact with our boss because we are producing sketches, and then we have to rework our sketches so that we can go into concepts. Then we will choose concept, and then we'll develop. Now, during the reviews, internal design reviews, it's normal that a boss will tell everybody what he thinks, and that there is a discussion, open discussion about how this should be, or how you are doing, and what I would change, and I suggest you to change, stuff like that. Now, as I said many times, if you are very stubborn that you are right 100%, and all the critiques you are receiving, you don't listen to them, therefore you don't change your attitude, you don't change the way you are designing that project, you might be right, but you also might be wrong. Knowing that there are more experienced people that are telling you, be careful, because the way you are doing, you have few problems, and when we get to the decision taking, who will win that design and will follow that model until production in full scale and everything else, that choice is very delicate, very, very delicate. Therefore, every design manager is always hoping to go to that choice day, okay, where the big committee will be listening, will be there for the final presentation, so that they can pick up one or two and move on with the project. So when there is that choice moment, that is very important, very delicate, every design manager wants to go there with 3 models or with 3 proposals that are all very, very good. So to be very, very good means that also the design manager must feel very confident, very trustful of each concept that he can present, defend, okay? Also, you designers, in some cases, the designers are the ones that present their projects. And they have the design managers that supports them doing that presentation, which is one of the final presentations. So it's very delicate. And in front of you have people that did not participate to every instance of this work in progress project. So the objective is to go to that day with 100% of trust for each concept. Now, what happens if a design manager is in that situation but with one concept for which he doesn't feel right? And that's the first question to which you have to give an answer. Because you have to understand that you work not for yourself, you work for the company. And when you're working into a design team, you're working for that design team and for that manager that has a design director that is his boss, and everything has to go smooth, you know. So, in a way, there is a sort of a negotiation of situations, of things to do and not to do, that will be every time that you have an internal design review. And of course, that's normal. That's in politics, that's in life, that's in the family. You know, how many times we parents have to negotiate with our kids. And how many times you as a kid or as a children or as a or in your family, you have to negotiate with your parents. So negotiation, it's everywhere. Therefore, it's in my opinion, it's useless to be very stubborn, okay, and therefore create the conditions that your relationship between you and your boss or some of your mates or even the design director, because of course the design director is your second boss and you get the raise on your salary from them. You get the good compliments for your work done from them. And you get to be chosen for some projects thanks to them. So everything is connected. And don't forget that they are connected with the HR personal department that is dedicated to CAD designers in the company. Therefore, you cannot, inside this type of team or family or environment, think that no, it's my moment, I really know the design that I have to do, what you are asking me to, suggesting me to change, it's bullshit, therefore I will do the way I feel. You can do this once, but you cannot do this all the time. Hi Kumar, ciao. Because if you do this all the time, you will go from the positive feeling, perception, to the negative one. Because you will become someone that applies resistance, you know, is trying to resist to a system. If you are in that company, every company have their own philosophy, their own strategy. And also the company for which you working has their own philosophy and strategy that they have to defend and support. And how do they support that philosophy and strategy? Thanks to the designs and the concepts that in design environment, okay, design studio, you all together prepare. And the briefing is given by product planning and is managed in the interpretation by your design manager, design director. And therefore you as a designer have to do your best work, the best you can do, in order to respond to that briefing and to also make sure that the design philosophy, the design strategy that has been approved by the company, it's followed, okay? So if you are always in your self-protecting, protection mood, automatically you become a sort of enemy of that team. You become a problem. And when a problem is small, it's okay, no big deal. We can deal. This time you behave like that, next time you won't do it anymore. And you will not do it anymore, therefore the problem is solved. But it creates a precedent. Instead, if you keep on being always like that, which means it's your character, your education, the way you are, maybe you insist too much, you are stubborn and stuff like that, a design manager and a design director, they will start observing that, and they understand that they cannot have you being part of that team. Because if you don't listen, if you keep on not listening, you have become not a small problem, but a huge problem. Because you are hired in that company. Anish, I was just curious during the ideation creativity period, how many are roughly made before one is chosen by each designer? A lot, Anish, many, believe me, many. Then there is only a small selection for each one. But a small selection means that we make a poster of 1 meter high and 2 meters long full of sketches, and that's a selection. Okay, so you have an idea. We print those big scale, okay, huge scale, 1 meter for 2 meters, okay, and there, of course, in Photoshop or Illustrator, they paste all the sketches that have been scanned or done by with Photoshop, and they put them into this big presentation poster. The show of design and what is the boss in the type of negotiation. But Adam, the position of designer is, especially at the beginning, is of somebody that is paid, of course, for creativity. And he has to offer, or she has to offer, the best creativity according to the project brief. But they also have to understand that they belong to a new environment, and like every environment, there are rules. There are a sort of a discipline. There is a sort of ethic behavior. That is an ethic behavior dictated by the company philosophy, the company culture, the company history. So this is on the designer point of view. But at the same time, the design boss, whether it's a design manager or whether it's just or the design director, what do? How do they relate to a designers? They are the ones that had to guide you. And this happens to me too, to my boss. Sometimes my boss with me, even though I am not 20 years old, not anymore, sadly. Okay, so how do I do, for example? Let's give you, I want to give you an example, a bad example, a good example. Okay, the good example is, for example, sometimes I am stubborn. Sometimes I also want to try to do something in the project because I feel that maybe my boss is too safe, okay? That he wants to be just too, between quotes, polite in the environment. I can understand because it's also politics. Then I ask him, I say, please, let me, I will do the way you want, because I do. In my case, it's easy because it's management. It's not that I'm sketching myself. But I can guide designers or other people in doing some details or some things in a certain way. Therefore, I tell him, I do it the way you want, but let me do also the way I think it should be. And then we'll check it together. And that's a very good way to do it, in my opinion. Because it's not blessing anybody, it's not arrogant, it's just an extra way to help the team. And sometimes it can happen that your boss says, you know what, you're right. Now that I see it, I understand. Ciao Luca, ciao Gaia, ciao. So this is a good way, I would say, to negotiate something that you want to do and that at the beginning your boss didn't want you to do. Instead of another scenario that I lived, because I had this experience with a young designer, and you explain, so don't forget, you know, your picture is fantastic, but I still need 3 changes, here, here, and here. You explain why. Many times it's just for technical reasons, because when you move on with the project, you get closer to the hard points. Therefore, when you get, ciao Fantasy Garage, when you get to the hard points, you cannot play too much ultra free creativity. It's normal. It's life. We come down to the real thing. Therefore, when I ask the young designer, please, this point has to be changed for this reason, I explain, so that he can learn and understand that to sketch a car, to make a real project, it's not so easy. There are so many things that, so many elements that can disturb the creativity. But we have to live with it, and we have to do the best we can with them. In some cases, we can overcome them, and that's my job. But in some cases, I know that it's not possible. Unless you double the budget, things that is, of course, forbidden to do, because money is money and business is business. Therefore, you have to stand, you frame your project within a given budget. And if a design provokes extra budget, that's very bad. But not very bad for me or for the designer. It's very bad for our superiors, for the design director, for the VP design, because when he presents the project to the president of the company, he will be accused not to listen to the company because the project becomes too expensive. Therefore, it cannot go into production. So there are so many things happening behind, a young designer that, in my opinion, the young designer should just listen and learn. And this does not mean that we have to, to forbid designers to express their creativity. Not at all. Not at all. That's why there are some stages for each project. The brainstorming, you are free. But once we choose some concepts, then all the hard points get in. And my job becomes more, I press people a little bit more, of course, because I have to guide the project between two lines that are very, very clearly defined, which are the hard points, to make sure that we don't get the car off track, right? So when you have a young designer or a designer that tells you, okay, I understood, I will do what you say, and you come back 1 week after and you go and check, do you have the images ready, because I have my presentation, my meeting in a couple of hours or maybe tomorrow, and he gives it back to you and it looks good, but he did not change what you asked. That's a big problem. What do I bring in that meeting? Because in that meeting I said, okay, we understood, we negotiate the changes of these 3 points. So everybody tells me, okay, thank you very much, we'll see you next week, and there will be 20 people in that meeting. Now what do I do the week after? Do I go and simply to say, oh, I'm sorry, our designer didn't want to do it, and therefore I count what? Nothing. So this cannot be produced as a situation like that. So in those cases, when this happens, what do? Well, I ask with my boss to go to another designer that will very quickly will make the image the way we need it to be, so that I have an image on which we can discuss with the team and see whether we can do this way or the other way and move on with the project. But move on with the project in according to the brief of the project, the philosophy of the company, the strategy that we decided to adopt all together, so in a cohesive way. How to clear interior design internship. Kumar, I'm talking about something else today. So I'm sorry, I cannot talk about that. About design internship, there are other videos on this channel. You can go and check it out, Design Talks, in which you will find all the information about design internship interview. So go and check it out, okay? Thank you. So, now, do you understand the difference between the two scenarios? One where you don't listen, and the other one when you don't want to listen but you propose something in alternative, doing what was asked you to do anyway. So this is one scenario, okay? And this type of situations, okay, those type of situations can provoke, how can I say, a sort of bad feeling, and that's too bad, between the boss, the director, and the designer. Therefore, when we look at the people that working for us, we know that guy is good because he does this and that. The other guy or girl are very nice because she or he knows what to do, and they are precise, very professional. And then when we look at that guy, we say, it could be better. And if you get into that every single time that you interact with that designer, that means you have a problem. And the problem it's wait just a second, that I have to do one thing. Just one thing, one moment, please. I got a message, I have to give an answer. Sorry, that's the beauty of being live. Okay, so let's come back to us. Now, what happens when this problem becomes a big problem? The designer, of course, will feel that. He's gonna start saying, I don't know, but it looks like they don't like me. I do things, they don't look at my stuff anymore. Or do they give me just stupid works to do, things that are not very important, that are not, or you are part of projects, but you are not chosen. Even if your work is not that bad. And the question is human. As you remember, when I talked to you a few weeks ago about the portfolio, a good portfolio is divided into two parts. The first part is skills, how good you are, creativity, skills, sketching, rendering, presenting, that stuff. And if you are 100% on that, very good, you got 50% chances that you get hired because your work is excellent. Then there is the human factor, and this is something people forget or ignore. Don't ignore it, it's very important, because if you're a good boy, in the sense that you know how to present yourself, you are polite, you are willing to do things when people ask you to do, you are not hard-headed in a way that is so complicated to deal with you, then you get the other 50% and you get hired. Hi Hishant, I'm fine, thanks, welcome back. So at work, in that situation, it's the same thing. Maybe that designer, because he's so stubborn, it's going down very low in his human part of its full contribution to the design studio, and that's a problem. That is a problem. So what happens when things get bad? First thing I suggest to do is that designers, of course, have to talk to the boss. There is also always the evaluation every year. Okay, this is in many companies the company rule. Therefore, each one of us is called one by one for a 30 minutes talk with the boss, and to make to make an evaluation on how you work the whole year, or how you work the last 6 months, to make a mid-check, okay, how things are going, so that everybody knows whether we are doing well, we are doing bad. And during that meeting, everything is said, very clearly and very honestly. It's the real relationship between the design manager or director and designers, okay? And it's a little bit like a son and parents, children and parents. When they talk, when we talk to our children to make them reason. Look, you did this, that was bad, I forgive you, but for next time, don't do it anymore. You do that, to go to school, when you go to school, you have to do well, stuff like that. It's a little bit the same thing, of course, from a professional point of view. But it includes also the human aspect. Because what is important for the company is how you are able to play the role of a teammate. How team are you? Or how single are you? Because if you are always close in yourself, even if you're in a big team and you don't participate, in the team building activities, which is make sure that the team works really Ciao Alex, Capoponte Comunicazione, wow. It's the first time you're here. È la prima volta che ti leggo. Metti like e abbonati al canale, grazie. So, the first time that I see Alex Comunicazione here, I asked him to subscribe. So, this is the first step. You have to talk with your boss and you have to explain to each other, because maybe you made a mistake and you didn't want to make that mistake. You didn't even see that mistake coming, and therefore the boss, who is in general a responsible person, puts you on guard and tells you, look, I understood, it's the beginning for you, it's your first experience. And I understand that there are a lot of foreign people here, it's a little crazy environment, but don't forget, you are here now, and we are interested in you not only because you know how to do beautiful sketches, and you have a great creativity, but also because we have to see how to take your creativity, what you produce, and make it profitable, because that's why we pay you. We want to make sure that what you do, we can take it into the project. Even a small part. So if you are stubborn and you don't listen and you don't change the attitude, therefore you don't modify some of your ideas in a way that they can be more better according to the project we are doing, you are isolating yourself. So a boss in general explains things at the beginning, and for the first time it's just warning. It's just like a warning. So it's fine, friends like before. There is a mutual respect that things are okay, and you move on the next project. But if this will be again and again, reproposed as a scenario, then in that case things change. And so factor not only plays a part in your hiring, dictates whether you can get engaged in a product and happening. Anish, it's all together, it's all together. Ciao Mr. Zanetti Kennedy. Wow, what a name, Mr. Kennedy Zanetti. I don't know if you are Italian or American, or you are the nephew of Kennedy family. I don't know, no, probably not that. But welcome here, and put your likes. Hey guys, put your likes. Only 15. What's that? Come on, let's arrive at least at 20 likes. I'm talking to you about such important topic today. It's extremely important for your future. Hey, by the way, if you want to offer me a coffee, there is a super sticker there, okay? The super sticker here. Button. Offer me a coffee. I'm thirsty. Thanks. Alright, so now let's analyze what happens if this scenario becomes really, really bad. Because I've seen during my 32 years of experience scenarios that were really bad. Few, but I've seen them. When I was in Fiat, so many years ago, but I saw also some that are more recent, okay, where I am today. So, in that case, the design director will start taking action. And the action, it means that you get an extra step into the system that every company made, okay, to make sure that they can recuperate a resource, in this case a designer, that is not behaving the way he should or she should. So there are some steps, okay, and those steps are made with the HR department, personal department, okay, that are in charge also of all your documents for career, evolution, stuff like that. Therefore, there are certain type of warnings, activities that you have to do, steps that you have to make, requested by your boss, and to which you have to show your best intention to respect them in order to save your back, your behind. And if you don't do, then you get into another scenario which is really dangerous. Parma, ok. Ah, ok, Kennedy, alright. Quindi Italia, Parma, alright. Perfetto. Ciao Ashen, how are you? Welcome back. So, now we are 22 likes, that's perfect. But you're very good. Thank you very much. You listen to me. I hire you like my designers now. You're listening. Great. So, now, let's imagine that your boss talks to you. This time it's not a simple conversation. It's an official meeting with the HR